This is their moment to shine, so please give them and their many accomplishments your full attention. Now, let's get ready to welcome our graduates.
Hello. Oyez, oyez, oyez. Comes now the College of Law to present its 148th graduating class. Would all present rise? Please welcome members of the Faculty and Platform Party. Mario Barge, Chief Human Resources Officer and Vice President for Talent and Culture. Stephanie Taylor, Vice President and General Counsel. Carrie Showalter, Dean of Students and Associate Vice President of Student Life. Dr. Leslie Cottrell, Faculty Representative to the Board of Governors. Dr. Scott Critchlow, Faculty Senate Chair and Representative to the Board of Governors. Sarah Wagner, Professor of the Year and today's commencement speaker. Jessica Haught, Vice Dean. Dr. Elizabeth Dooley, Justitia Fickium Award designee. Honorable Elizabeth Walker, honorary degree recipient. Susan Brewer, Interim Dean of the WVU College of Law. Paul Kreider, Interim Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. Carrying the University Mace, Grand Marshal Elaine Waterhouse Wilson, and Michael T. Benson, President of West Virginia University. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the national anthem in our alma mater.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Alma, our alma mater, the home of mountaineers, sing we of thy honor, everlasting through thy years. Alma, our alma mater, we pledge in song to you. Hail, all hail our alma mater, West Virginia, you.
Please be seated. And now please welcome Interim Provost Paul Kreider.
So on behalf of West Virginia's faculty, staff, students, and Board of Governors and the administration, I am pleased to welcome you all to our May 2026 commencement ceremony. This is a special weekend for all of us, and an especially bittersweet one for me. This will be my final series of commencement ceremonies as an administrator at WVU, an institution I have been proud to serve for 15 years. Today marks a milestone achievement in your lives. Graduating from college or graduate school or law school is a major accomplishment. You have worked hard, overcome challenges, celebrated numerous victories along the way. All along that journey, you persevered, and you kept your eye on the prize. And now, here you are today, just moments away from receiving your WVU diploma. Most of today will be a blur. There's a lot going on. Be sure to take time to soak it all in, pause for a moment, look around you, remember your classmates and the friendships you have forged. Reflect on the faculty and the staff members who shared their expertise and mentored you along this path. Look out into the audience and think about friends and family who have supported you and cheered you on. And of course, reflect on your own efforts, your own triumphs, the stops and starts, all the times you thought you couldn't go any farther, only to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and get right back to work. It's that grit and that determination that defines the mountaineer spirit. It is that confidence and resilience that carried you across the most admirable of finish lines today. As you take your steps into the wider world, always remember that your WVU degree has value and will open doors for you, just as it has for thousands of successful alumni before you. And never forget that no matter how far your journey takes you, you will always have a home among these hills. So May graduates, today is your day, a day for us to recognize your accomplishments and celebrate your success. Good luck, enjoy the journey, and stay safe. Congratulations.
And now, please welcome Interim Dean Susan Brewer to the podium.
Good morning. My name is Susan Brewer, and it's my honor to serve as the Interim Dean of the West Virginia University College of Law. My time at WVU Law began last summer and will end this coming winter. This may be the only graduation ceremony where I'll ever speak, and I couldn't have asked for a better class of graduates to address than this one. In my brief time here, I've learned a lot about our students, your dedication, intelligence, persistence, and you've impressed me from the very first day of my tenure. But maybe that's to be expected. I don't think anyone who applies to law school thinks it's going to be easy, and anyone who makes it to graduation knows that it wasn't easy. What impressed me most, however, is the care that you've shown for each other. Time and time again, I saw you lift each other up, support each other's ambitions, and strive to improve the WVU law community wherever you could. When things went well, no one cheered louder than you. When they didn't, you offered a shoulder for your classmates to lean on. That's the WVU law difference, and that's what makes us what we are. The education you received here wasn't just about learning the principles necessary to become a successful lawyer, although we certainly want you to be successful. Through our classes, clinics, and community programs, you were offered chances to learn, yes, but also to lead through service to others. Now the time has come for you to take these qualities and carry them somewhere new. Maybe that's a frightening thought. Change is scary, but it's also very exciting. As you take your next steps, I want you to remember a few things. Remember the sense of pride and accomplishment you have today. You've earned it. Remember to thank those who supported you throughout your time here, who gave so much so you could make your journey to this stage today. I'm sure many of them are watching us from the audience right now, and some I know are watching us from above. In fact, let's take a moment to show our appreciation to all of them. Remember that there are always new lessons to learn, no matter how much you've experienced. I discovered that myself this past year. Remember finally that you'll always be mountaineers. We are also excited to see where you go and what you accomplish. Come back and visit us whenever you can. With that, I'll now welcome Associate Dean Matt Titolo to introduce our Justitia Officium degree.
The Justitia Officium Award is given each year in recognition of outstanding contributions and service to the legal profession. It is the highest honor of the WVU College of Law can bestow upon an individual. A plaque in the College of Law's lobby bears the names of all Justitia Officium recipients. Today, we are pleased to present the Justitia Officium Award to an individual whose life and career represented the very best of our profession, Catherine Kitty Dooley. Catherine Louise Kitty Dooley graduated from the West Virginia University College of Law with a JD in 1990. A Fairmont native, she held positions at Spillman, Thomas & Battle and the West Virginia Attorney General's office before opening her own practice. The Dooley Law Firm in Charleston. Therefore, there she focused on plaintiff personal injury, employment, and administrative law. Prior to graduating from WVU, she served in the United States Army as a military intelligence officer, attaining the rank of captain, and made history as the first female cadet to be awarded the Army Airborne Parachute Badge. During her career, Dooley also held various positions with the West Virginia State Bar, the Mountain State Bar Association, the Charleston Kanawha Housing Authority, and the Charleston branch of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. She was honored for her work with many accolades, including the Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday Commission Living the Dream Award for Human and Civil Rights, YWCA Women of Achievement, and West Virginia Bar Foundation Fellow. I struck out to not just earn a living, but also to make a difference in my community, Dooley said in a 2020 interview with West Virginia Executive Magazine. I believe my heart for helping people and my desire to obtain a fair and just result for my clients has guided my practice. Sadly, Kitty passed away peacefully on Friday, October 3rd, 2025. She is survived by her husband, Charles Green, sisters Frida A. Dooley, Deborah A. Dooley, Jacqueline A. Dooley, Dr. Elizabeth Arlene Dooley, and Teresa Shepard, her brother, Stephen Burks, and countless other family members and friends whose lives she touched. Here today to receive this award on her behalf is her sister, Dr. Elizabeth Dooley.
Sorry, this is my first, remember? At this time, I want to welcome to the podium the president of the class of 2026, Chris Payne, to introduce our graduation speaker and the 2026 Professor of the Year, Sarah Wagner.
Good morning. How are you all feeling? Congratulations on graduating from the best law school in the state. Not many people can say that. Ever since I was elected president of the class of 2026, there has only been one thought that has really reverberated through my mind. Coincidentally, I believe the same thought has probably haunted J. Powell on many a night. And that thought is, what am I going to say at this graduation speech? Honestly, I understand why that would be, risky. I could actually say anything. And I guess that's the reason that instead of giving a graduation speech, I've been tasked with introducing someone who is far more responsible and less likely to say something crazy or legally actionable. But the joke's on you, because the person that I am introducing as our Professor of the Year is actually the perfect embodiment of our class and the spirit of what we represent. So in order to introduce you to our Professor of the Year, I first have to introduce you to the class of 2026. Back in my 1L year, I went to lunch with some 3Ls, and I asked them, what do you think about our class? What are our identifiers? And trust me, they weren't shy. They had a lot to say, and I won't repeat all of it, only because I have 2 minutes in character and fitness. But 3 words really stuck out to me. They said that we were the crazy class, that we were the loud and obnoxious class, and they said that we were a class full of gunners. So I'm pretty used to being called crazy, loud, and obnoxious. I've heard it once or twice, but I'd never heard what gunner meant. And they told me that, you know, it's those people who always sit in the front of the class and raise their hand and always just trying to do extra on their homework, essentially hard workers. So I was really confused as to why they would say that, disrespecting us like that. And I saw in our class, it was full of gunners, and I personally was not one, but you guys were, and it forced me to become better, and I appreciate you for the rest of my life for that. But when they said that we were crazy and loud, obnoxious gunners, I heard something different. I heard that we were the passionate class. And that's why Professor Sarah Wagner is perfect for our Professor of the Year, because Professor Wagner teaches the same way that our class learns, with energy, with conviction, high expectations, and the belief that the law actually matters. She doesn't teach law just like it's something to memorize on an exam. She teaches it for what it is, something real that genuinely can affect other human beings' lives. What makes sense when we look at her career, before joining WU Law, Professor Wagner served as the Assistant United States Attorney. She worked on civil rights cases, criminal cases. She served as a lead appellate attorney. She represented workers and families with serious issues, and she clerked for the Fourth Circuit. In other words, she has not just studied the law, she has lived it. She has argued it, and she's carried the weight of it. And then she brought all of that experience back here to us. Professor Wagner challenges students because she believes that we are capable of meeting the challenge. It's not a punishment to make us work harder or to give the cold calls. I actually know it kind of gives her a little anxiety when she has to do it. But she does it because she cares about us and what we need to do in this state and generally in the world. Because right now the world needs people who are in charge, not in control. I always thought it was about being in control because you're in control. There's no accountability for your actions. But when you're a real leader and you're in charge, it is your face sitting there that, and if things go wrong, it's on you. Professor Wagner is in charge. She's definitely not in control. That's probably why we voted for her, because she reminds me of me, honestly, every time I see her running with books flying everywhere and papers all over the place. And I'm not going to say she's loud or obnoxious, but she's loud with her actions. She's crazy with her work ethic. And she is a gunner. She's our gunner. So on behalf of this loud and crazy class, but most importantly, on behalf of our passionate class of 2026, it is my honor to present to you our Professor of the Year, Sarah Wagner. Also, donate to the J. Powell Book Fund.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you, class of 2026, for allowing me to be the one up here speaking to you from the heart on this very important day in your lives. This time 3 years ago, I didn't know any of you. When I met you, you were already halfway through law school. But now I feel like I know many of you pretty well, and in fact, each of you is very dear to me. You welcomed me with warm, open arms, and so now I want to return that affection as we send you off into the future. If you've taken one of my courses, you've learned a couple things about me. One is that I love an 8:30 a.m. class, especially if it falls on a Monday. And the other is that I love sharing strategies for answering complicated exam questions, like how do I apply the confrontation clause to hearsay? Or what is the difference between the Fifth Amendment right to counsel and the Sixth Amendment right to counsel? If you've already forgotten, don't stress, that's what your bar prep courses are for. From here on out, for most, if not all of you, 8:30 classes will be a thing of the past. But don't worry, you have early morning hearings to look forward to. And after July, complicated exam questions will also be a thing of the past. But by choosing the law, you have chosen a career that, at its essence, is about answering sometimes complicated questions. You are all more than equipped to answer those questions when it comes to what the law means. What did the Congress intend? What is the court trying to say, and why must it say it in a majority opinion, 3 concurrences, and a dissent? You will figure all of those answers out. The difficult questions will be the moral dilemmas that you face moving forward. You will sometimes have to choose between making good money and doing good work, being present for your family or being present for your clients, following the easy known way or blazing a new trail. You are all equipped to find those answers as well. But I will share 3 small pieces of advice with you because, after all, this is a graduation speech. I picked these 3 things I wish I had known when I walked out of this building 20 years ago. First, emotion is a beautiful thing. Be enthusiastic, care, be excited. Tell people when they make you feel good. The greatest joys in your careers and your lives will be the connections you make with the people around you. Your family, your friends, colleagues, clients, judges, jurors. If you don't show and communicate your emotion, those connections will be superficial and you'll be cheating yourself and everyone around you. Second, fill your office and house with as many houseplants as you possibly can. A life in the law can be very stressful. Research shows that interacting with indoor plants reduces physiological and psychological stress. Scientists don't seem to agree on the reason. Some say houseplants reduce cortisol levels. Others say they foster a sense of purpose through caretaking. I say the act of cultivating a plant collection can help remind us to cultivate with purpose virtues like courage and justice that you will need to be a whole, productive, happy, good lawyer. And I will gladly share cuttings with any of you who need help getting your collection started. Finally, and this is important, don't forget to ask the question, what does justice require of me as a person who happens to be a lawyer in this moment? If you ask the question, the answer will reveal itself to you. It is when we don't ask the question, when we let ourselves be moved by inertia, when we act unthinkingly, that we cause harm and lose our way. When you seek those answers, you will be guided by the things you've learned at this law school, by the connections that you've made with each other and with all of us, and by the virtues that you have purposely nurtured in yourselves. Congratulations to you all. You're going to be amazing.
Please welcome President Benson to the podium for a special presentation.
It is my privilege to be here today to recognize a true force within the West Virginia judiciary, Elizabeth Beth Walker. An advocate for public engagement in civics education, Justice Walker served as Justice of the Supreme Court of Appeals of West Virginia from 2017 to 2025, including 2 terms of Chief Justice in 2019 and 2023. She holds the distinction of being the first justice elected to the court in a nonpartisan race. Justice Walker has dedicated her entire professional career to serving West Virginia. For more than 25 years before taking the bench, she concentrated her practice on labor and employment law, first as a partner with the regional law firm Bowles Rice, and then as Associate General Counsel for WVU Medicine. She founded and chaired the West Virginia Task Force on Lawyer Well-Being and currently serves on the advisory committee to the American Bar Association Commission on Lawyer Assistance Programs. She's an active volunteer in support of the West Virginia Judges and Lawyers Assistance Program and is a fellow of the College of Labor and Employment Lawyers. Now a senior status justice, she recently chaired the advisory committee to propose rule changes to the Code of Judicial Conduct and continues to assist with special court projects. Her service, though, is not limited to courtrooms. To make the court more accessible, Walker co-founded Lady Justice, Women of the Court, a podcast created in partnership with the National Center of State Courts, which features state Supreme Court justices discussing the judicial branch of government and their experiences on their state's highest appellate court. Walker is an alumna and former board chair of Leadership West Virginia and a lifelong Girl Scout who served as chair and a longtime member of the board of directors of Girl Scouts of Black Diamond Council. Serving as an example for today's graduates, Justice Walker is being recognized for exceptional service to the Mountain State, her pivotal role in building public confidence within the judiciary, and her profoundly positive impact on the rule of law in West Virginia. Elizabeth Beth Walker. On this day, May 15th, 2026, in recognition of your distinguished career and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the West Virginia University Board of Governors, I hereby confer upon you the Honorary Doctor of Laws degree with all the rights, honors, and privileges appertaining thereto. Mountaineer family, please help me welcome Justice Walker to the podium.
Wow. Thank you, President Benson, Provost Kreider, Dean Brewer, faculty, and trustees for this truly extraordinary honor. I never anticipated or even imagined being recognized in this way, and frankly, when I stepped up and saw that diploma with my name on it, I got kind of choked up, and I still am, so sorry about that. As a West Virginian by choice, I know how much this university and the College of Law is beloved by its alumni. I'm at a loss for words to explain how much it means to me to become part of this Mountaineer family, so I'll simply say thank you. I'm also so grateful to be able to say a few words to the graduates. First, congratulations to the class of 2026. Another round. What an incredible day for you and your loved ones. I'm delighted to be here to celebrate your accomplishments and be at an event where everybody gets to wear a robe. 36 years ago, I was in your shoes, sitting in an auditorium in Columbus, Ohio at my law school hooding ceremony. Like many of you, I'm a first-generation lawyer, so I was unsure about my future. I was a little nervous about the bar exam, but other than that, I just assumed that I would work for a law firm, become a partner, and live happily ever after. Little did I know about the unexpected opportunities that God would place in my path. Today, I simply encourage you to stay open to those unexpected opportunities. It's not necessary to have your life all figured out right now. I certainly did not. What I've learned is that some of the best opportunities for growth are dressed up as setbacks and failures. Even though I decided to become a lawyer when I was in 7th grade, I never aspired to be a judge. But one night in 2007 in Charleston, conversations with friends turned into the idea of me running for Supreme Court Justice in the upcoming 2008 election. I had never run for public office, and I had no idea what I was getting into. But I quickly figured out how to become a candidate, and with the support of my law partners and a few people who actually knew how to run a campaign, and especially my beloved Mr. Walker, WVU College of Law, class of 2011, I was on the ballot in the 2008 general election of the Supreme Court, and I lost by 0.6%. I was devastated, and I felt like a failure. But other folks noticed how close I came in that race as a first-time statewide candidate. I went back to working hard as a lawyer, and then 8 years later, I was convinced to run again. That time, I won by nearly 20 points. And in 2017, I took office as the first justice of the Supreme Court elected in a nonpartisan race. I thought I had made it, but not so fast. Mere months into my service as a justice, a political scandal erupted at the court that instantly created a crisis in the judicial branch. I was the sole justice vindicated in a public forum because I had done nothing wrong. So I took over as Chief Justice and, working with some new colleagues, focused on restoring public trust and confidence in the integrity of the West Virginia judiciary. At first, I felt completely unprepared for this daunting task. And then I realized I had all the skills I needed. So truly, the worst thing that ever happened to me professionally turned into the most significant opportunity of my career. I wish each of you not the failures, but the success and satisfaction that I have enjoyed. Whether you're staying here in West Virginia, and I hope you are, or venturing elsewhere. But it might turn out a little differently than you think right now. My career certainly surprised me, but no matter where you find yourself, you can make that place a little better than you found it. Congratulations again, and thank you, Dean Brewer and President Benson, for the chance to be part of this amazing celebration today.
During our students' time at WVU Law, our faculty has been central in developing them into the graduates that you see today. My colleagues and I are so happy we've had the privilege of teaching them. At this time, I would like for the faculty of the College of Law to please stand and be acknowledged by everyone. President Benson will be conferring the degrees today. Our Associate Dean for Faculty, Matt Totolo, will be reading the names of the graduates. The graduates will then be presented with their academic hoods. Some of our graduates today will be hooded by family members who are past graduates of the WVU College of Law or graduates of other law schools. This is a long-standing and meaningful tradition at the College of Law. I will have the honor of hooding the other members of the class of 2026. We welcome your participation in this celebration as you share with your loved ones the accomplishments we recognize today. However, I ask that you please hold your applause until after the name and the achievements of each graduate are read. So, are we ready? Let's begin.
Lauren Alexander, Charlotte, North Carolina. Area of emphasis, public interest law, General Litigation Clinic, Pro Bono Service Award, President, Black Law Student Association, Order of the Barristers. Benjamin Anderson, Vernon, New Jersey. Connor Avington, Fairmont, West Virginia. Area of emphasis, public interest law, General Litigation Clinic. Vania Baginski, Santa Ana, California. Area of emphasis, public interest law, United States Supreme Court Clinic, Pro Bono Service Award, West Virginia Law Review, Jessup Moot Court, Order of the Barristers. Noah Bailey, Johnson City, Tennessee. United States Supreme Court Clinic, West Virginia Law Review, Order of the Barristers. Andres Baquero, Miami, Florida. Area of emphasis, Energy and Sustainable Development Law, Land Use and Sustainable Development Clinic, Pro Bono Service Award. Anna Barfield, Asbury, West Virginia, Pro Bono Service Award. Brenton Barnett, Lost Creek, West Virginia Innocence Project Clinic. Jessica Bly, Fairview, West Virginia Fund for Law in the Public Interest, Postgraduate Fellowship Award. Jacob Bowen, Bridgeport, West Virginia, General Litigation Clinic. Jacob will be hooded by his father, Forrest Bowen, WVU class of 1997. Kayla Brown, Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. Area of emphasis, Civil Litigation and Advocacy, General Litigation Clinic, Pro Bono Service Award, President, Public Interest Advocates, Lugar Trial Association. Edwin Dillon Carpenter, Haymarket, Virginia, Veterans Advocacy Clinic. Elizabeth Cathell, Morgantown, West Virginia, Land Use and Sustainable Development Clinic. John Cimino, Charleston, West Virginia, Veterans Advocacy Clinic, President, Business Law Society. John will be hooded by his father, Michael Cimino, WVU Law Class of 1993. Aaron Cobb, Winfield, West Virginia, President, Federalist Society, National Moot Court Team, Order of Barristers. Taylor Cochran, Dobson, North Carolina, Immigration Law Clinic, West Virginia Law Review. Reagan Cook, Scott Depot, West Virginia, Pro Bono Service Award, President, Women's Leadership Council. Sydney Countryman, Somerset, Pennsylvania. Samantha Coyne, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Terry Grace Davis, Birch River, West Virginia, Veterans Advocacy Clinic, Pro Bono Service Award, West Virginia State Bar Postgraduate Fellowship Award. Austin Devon, Parkersburg, West Virginia Innocence Project Clinic. Addison DeVise, Kenna, West Virginia. Sierra Dotson, Delberton, West Virginia, General Litigation Clinic, West Virginia Law Review. Sydney Eddy, Fairmont, West Virginia, area of emphasis, civil litigation and advocacy, President Lugar Trial Association, winner Lugar Cup competition, West Virginia Law Review, National Moot Court Team, Order of Barristers. Nicholas Ejetti, Smithton, Pennsylvania. Tristan Everett, Purgattsville, West Virginia, area of emphasis, energy and sustainable development law, land use and sustainable development clinic. Cameron Ferguson, Martinsburg, West Virginia. Hunter Fishel, Murraysville, Pennsylvania, area of emphasis, public interest law, energy and sustainable development law, land use and sustainable development clinic, Pro Bono Service Award, President Environmental Law Society. Alexander Fronin, Snohomish, Washington, Veterans Advocacy Clinic, President, Veterans and Military Advocacy Group. Olivia Giacono Wright, Willingboro, New Jersey, Area of Emphasis, Public Interest Law, West Virginia Innocence Project Clinic, Pro Bono Service Award, Chief Justice Moot Court Board, winner Baker Cup Competition, National Moot Court Team, Order of Barristers. Gemily Kiran Soto, Alexandria, Virginia, Area of Emphasis, Public Interest Law, Immigration Law Clinic, Pro Bono Service Award, President Energy Law Association, President Hispanic Law Student Association. Timothy Gwynn II, Alderson, West Virginia, father of three. Winford Wade Hall, Delberton, West Virginia Innocence Project Clinic, President Sports and Entertainment Society. Patrick Hassan, Morgantown, West Virginia Innocence Project Clinic, Pro Bono Service Award, President ACLU of West Virginia Student Chapter, President West Virginia Fund for Law and the Public Interest Board of Directors, West Virginia Law Review, Lugar Trial Association. Nicholas Haynes, Elkins, West Virginia. Nick will be hooded by his stepmother, the Honorable Lori Haynes, WVU class of 2008. Sarah Heilman, Wheeling, West Virginia, United States Supreme Court Clinic. Michael Hellstern, Herndon, Virginia. Olivia J. Helen. Crofton Higgins, Seattle, Washington. Dominic Higginbotham, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Madigan Heights, High Springs, Florida, United States Supreme Court Clinic, Pro Bono Service Award, West Virginia Law Review, Moot Court. Christina Houston, Atlanta, Georgia, Immigration Law Clinic, West Virginia Fund for Law and the Public Interest, Postgraduate Fellowship Award, Lugar Trial Association. Kenzie Howe, Danville, Kentucky, United States Supreme Court Clinic, West Virginia Law Review. Gannon Hundley, Tallahassee, Florida. Gannon will be hooded by his mother, Karen Hundley, Florida State University College of Law, class of 1993. Dylan Iaquinta, Bridgeport, West Virginia, General Litigation Clinic, Moot Court, Order of Barristers. George Jacobs, Charleston, West Virginia, Editor-in-Chief, West Virginia Law Review, winner 3L Legacy Award, winner 2L Emerging Leader Award, Immigration Law Clinic, Pro Bono Service Award. George will be hooded by his father, Pat Jacobs, WVU Law Class of 1979. Andrew Jimmy, Bridgeport, West Virginia, Immigration Law Clinic. William David Kent, Wheeling, West Virginia. Caitlin Kinsey, Hedgesville, West Virginia, Pro Bono Service Award, President, Alternative Dispute Resolution Society. Adam Kraus, Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania, Land Use and Sustainable Development Clinic, Pro Bono Service Award. Joyce Lynn, Belle Vernon, Pennsylvania, General Litigation Clinic. Julia Lopez, Clarksburg, West Virginia, President, WVU Law Innocence Project Student Chapter, West Virginia Innocence Project Clinic. Casey Lyons, Point Pleasant, West Virginia, Veterans Advocacy Clinic, Pro Bono Service Award. Ryan Maiden, Shepherdstown, West Virginia, Veterans Advocacy Clinic, Pro Bono Service Award, Lugar Trial Association. John Markle, Bristol, Tennessee, United States Supreme Court Clinic, West Virginia Law Review. Dominic Martin, Charleston, West Virginia, United States Supreme Court Clinic, West Virginia Law Review. Dominic will be hooded by his father, Richard Martin, WVU Law Class of 1995. Ready? Martin III, Hanson, Kentucky. Area of emphasis, public interest law, pro bono service award, immigration law clinic, president, Defense Trial Council of West Virginia, student chapter, moot court. Jared Mazeska, New Cumberland, West Virginia, General Litigation Clinic Pro Bono Service Award. Jared will be hooded by his father, J. Marty Mazeska, WVU Law Class of 1984. Isaac Mazursky, Austin, Texas, Land Use and Sustainable Development Clinic. Kennedy McKinney, Boca Raton, Florida, Area of Emphasis, Public Interest Law, Immigration Law Clinic, Pro Bono Service Award, West Virginia Law Review. Claudia Mejia, Staten Island, New York, Area of Emphasis, International Law, Immigration Law Clinic, Pro Bono Service Award. James Trey Milne III, Somersville, West Virginia. Elise Moser, Morgantown, West Virginia Law Review. Abigail Neal, Charleston, West Virginia, Immigration Law Clinic, Pro Bono Service Award, West Virginia Law Review. Brandon Neiswanger, Moundsville, West Virginia. Brandon will be hooded by his father, Kevin Neiswanger, WVU Law Class of 1995. Tristan Nichols, Elkview, West Virginia, Area of Emphasis, Civil Litigation and Advocacy, West Virginia Law Review. Okay. Aubrielle O'Hearn, Albright, West Virginia, Pro Bono Service Award, Land Use and Sustainable Development Clinic, West Virginia Law Review. Adam Ockers, Middleborough, Massachusetts, Land Use and Sustainable Development Clinic. Lincoln Opioke, Fairview, West Virginia. Alan Parsons, St. Albans, West Virginia, Land Use and Sustainable Development Clinic, President, Tax Law Society, Thomas Chambers Award in Taxation, West Virginia Law Review, National Moot Court Team, Order of the Barristers. Abigail Paul, Martinsburg, West Virginia, Joint Degree recipient, Doctor of Jurisprudence and Master of Social Work, General Litigation Clinic. Abigail will be hooded by her mother, Susan Paul, WVU Law Class of 1990. Christopher Payne, Beckley, West Virginia, President, Class of 2026, West Virginia Innocence Project Clinic. Christopher will be hooded by his mother, Dr. Rosalind Artis, WVU Law Class of 1995. Madison Purdue, Huntington, West Virginia. Devin Price, Weirton, West Virginia, General Litigation Clinic, Pro Bono Service Award, West Virginia Law Review, National Moot Court Team, Lugar Trial Association, Order of the Barristers. Joseph Story, Prescott Renard, Comer, Georgia, Land Use and Sustainable Development Clinic. Scott Priest, Charleston, West Virginia, General Litigation Clinic, Moot Court. Brady Reed, Harrisville, West Virginia, General Litigation Clinic. Emerson Rice, Washington, Pennsylvania, General Litigation Clinic. Emerson will be hooded by her father, David Rice, Temple University School of Law, Class of 1987. Caitlin Riggleman, Knoxville, Tennessee, area of emphasis, Energy and Sustainable Development Law, Land Use and Sustainable Development Clinic Pro Bono Service Award. Emily Ryan, New Martinsville, West Virginia. Gregory Robertson, Charlottesville, Virginia, Area of Emphasis, Public Interest Law, Immigration Law Clinic, Pro Bono Service Award, West Virginia Law Review. Zachary Roball, Oakland, Maryland, United States Supreme Court Clinic, President Society for Artificial Intelligence in the Law, West Virginia Law Review, National Moot Court Team, Lugar Trial Association, Order of the Barristers. Olivia Rosnick, Weirton, West Virginia, General Litigation Clinic. Olivia will be hooded by her brother, Jacob Rosnick, WVU College of Law Class 2024. Molly Rowland, Scranton, Pennsylvania, Area of Emphasis, Public Interest Law, United States Supreme Court Clinic, Pro Bono Service Award, West Virginia Law Review. Jamie Schaefer, Kingwood, West Virginia, Immigration Law Clinic. Megan Skeen, Milton, West Virginia, Land Use and Sustainable Development Clinic, Pro Bono Service Award, West Virginia Law Review. Samuel Snyder, Weston, West Virginia, West Virginia Innocence Project Clinic. Samuel will be hooded by his uncle, William Weber, WVU Law Class of 1992. Caden Stinger, Martinsburg, West Virginia, Area of Emphasis, Civil Litigation and Advocacy, winner Lugar Cup Competition, United States Supreme Court Clinic, West Virginia Law Review, Lugar Trial Association, Order of the Barristers. Jessica Stevens, Seneca Rocks, West Virginia, Area of Emphasis, Civil Litigation and Advocacy, West Virginia Innocence Project Clinic, Pro Bono Service Award, President Community Service Council. Parker Stout, Webster Springs, West Virginia, General Litigation Clinic, Lugar Trial Association, Moot Court. Jacob Tanner, Ravenswood, West Virginia Innocence Project Clinic. Catherine Tillen, Staunton, Virginia, Student Bar Association President, 2025-26, Veterans Advocacy Clinic. Catherine will be hooded by her aunt, Catherine Alcampora, Georgetown University Law Center, class of 1988. Catherine Underwood, Madison, West Virginia. Angela Wallace, Virginia Beach, Virginia, Pro Bono Service Award, Moot Court. Noah Weaver, Parkersburg, West Virginia. Anna Westling, Kissimmee, Florida. Dean Brewer and President Benson, this concludes the presentation of the candidates for graduation from the College of Law.
As our 2026 hooding and commencement ceremony draws to a close, I hope that you'll reflect on your many accomplishments at WVU Law. Your experiences here, the friends you've made, the challenges you've overcome, and the lessons you've learned. They'll stay with you for the rest of your life. Take some time to celebrate this moment. To that end, I invite you all, graduates and guests, to join us at the College of Law for a reception immediately after this ceremony, where you can spend a little more time with your classmates and with us. You're about to step out of law school and into your next chapter, where you'll have a tremendous impact on people and communities in West Virginia and beyond. A great responsibility rests on your shoulders. Each and every one of you is ready for it, and we can't wait to see what you do next. I'd now like to welcome President Benson to the podium for the conferral of degrees.
Before I get to that, I'm going to go off script here, and I want to give a special recognition to Dean Susan Brewer. She's come in, we both started here at the same time last summer. She came into a challenging situation, and I cannot say enough good about her work ethic, her commitment to the College of Law, her commitment to you students, to the faculty, the staff, and the institution. I've been so impressed. I've loved working with her. And I'm so happy that we made it through the accreditation process. And that was a heavy lift. And she did it, along with her staff. And I want to give her a special round of applause. To our Mountaineer graduates, our faculty and staff members, families and friends, how fortunate we are to be together today during this time of great celebration. We've seen so much potential across the stage today, proof of the promise of higher education to build better futures. Though I've earned 4 degrees myself over the course of my career, you should know that today marks a unique experience. As you graduate, I'm completing my first year as the 27th president of West Virginia University. In my time here, I've learned about the focus and sincere dedication of our students, our faculty and staff that they bring to work every single day. I've learned to take the Brooks Hall elevator instead of hitting the steps from the Beechhurst PRT station. I've learned that wearing a flying WV will lead people to shout, "Let's go" at you in airports. I've learned how many meetings can be packed into one day. I've learned all the words to Take Me Home, Country Roads, and I look forward to singing it again today. And I've learned how much West Virginia means to so many people. I encourage you to think back on what you've learned here during your time. These lessons will guide you for the rest of your life. Though I was not in this role when you started your educational journeys, it is sincerely my privilege to celebrate with you today and to congratulate you as you mark this most significant of milestones and move on to what's next for you in your lives. So, what's next? That's the big question. The poet Robert Frost said this: "In 3 words, I can sum up everything I've learned about life. It goes on." How exactly it goes on is up to each of you. A poet like Robert Frost, Henry David Thoreau, put it this way: "Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you've imagined." Because I'm an historian, not a poet, I'll offer some guidance to you from Horace Quintus Horatius Flaccus, a Roman poet, satirist, and critic. He said this: "Begin, be bold, and venture to be wise." I'll repeat that again. Begin, be bold, and venture to be wise. Wisdom comes from applying experience, knowledge, and good judgment to making sound, prudent decisions. You've all benefited from the wisdom of many, many others, those who've served as guides throughout your life, supporters with the ability to shut out all the extraneous noise and discern what is true, right, or advisable. Those who have invested time and energy in you, and in doing so, helped you get to this milestone mountaineer moment. Many of those people are here today. Let's take a moment to thank them for the investment of time and energy in you graduates. Here at West Virginia University, pride in our land-grant mission runs deep. Success is earned, and life-changing experiences prepare mountaineers like you to serve others and lead in West Virginia and the world. Your bold future starts here. It's a path this year's honorary degree recipients followed before you. Sid Peng, the Charles E. Lawal Chair Emeritus of Mining Engineering, is the recipient of a presidential honorary degree because of his immense generosity in a time of energy and his time and energy at the Benjamin M. Statler College of Engineering and Mineral Resources. In 2007, Dr. Peng became the university's first National Academy inductee with his entry into the National Academy of Engineering, the kind of recognition that elevates the entire university. As you heard earlier, former West Virginia Supreme Court Justice Beth Walker was the first Chief Justice elected to the court in a nonpartisan race in 2016. She went on to serve as Chief Justice and was previously Associate General Counsel right here for WVU Medicine. WVU alumnus Tom Jones is the retired president and CEO of the West Virginia United Health System and a former Board of Governors chair with a deep love for this university, who worked throughout his career at the intersection of business and healthcare. And finally, WVU alumnus Arthur Gabriel co-founded Gabriel Brothers, Inc. with his brother, and together they opened the first store right here in Morgantown in 1961, taking inspiration from their father, who began working as a clothing retailer in the 1920s. They've all lived their lives boldly, and now it's your turn. Many of you have already taken bold steps. Raise your hand if you are a first-generation college student, the first in your family to go attend college. Please raise your hands high. Raise your hand if you've changed your major at least once. Okay? Raise your hand if you had at least one moment during your time at WVU when you did not think you could make it to the commencement day. Well, guess what? You did. We all have moments of doubt, and I congratulate you. It's not the doubt that defines you, it's what you do next. Your bold future starts right here, right now. When you walk out the doors today to join a Mountaineer alumni family that's more than 200,000 people strong worldwide, they are all proudly rooting for you. And as Mountaineers everywhere say, let's go. Will the degree candidates please arise? As mountaineers, we lead with pride, empower through education, transform lives, stake our claim, grow our reach, outperform our competition, and remember the words of Henry David Thoreau, live the life you've imagined. Take that call to action with you and put it to use as you go out into the world. Go where the opportunities take you. Go with curiosity and with the willingness to never stop learning. Go bravely, go boldly, go and be awesome. Now, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the West Virginia University Board of Governors, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have been recommended, with all the rights, honors, and privileges appertaining thereto. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating our newest West Virginia University graduates.
Thank you for attending today's ceremony. And please remain standing and join the class of 2026 in the traditional singing of Country Roads. Graduates, the University Marshals will release you in an orderly manner once the platform party exits the stage and after we play Country Roads.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze. Country roads take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, all my memories gather round her. Minus lady, stranger to blue water. Dark and dusty, painted on the sky. Missed a taste of moonshine, teardrops in my eyes. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, I hear her voice in the morning hours. She calls me. The radio reminds me of my home far away. Driving down the road, I get a feeling that I should have been home yesterday, Lord, yesterday. Country roads, take me home to the place